Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 736. Now, in today's episode even, we're talking about our excuses. Now, I don't want to be too hard in this episode, but I also want you to be in a position to be able to wake up to all the opportunities around you at any given moment to make the change that you desire. I really believe that once we free our mind from those cages that we've even been accustomed to, imprinted upon, learnt, through our past experiences, all those kind of things, we have the ability to break free of them once we awaken from those illusions. Now, quite simply, in this shorter episode, I'm sure, which is being broadcasted live on YouTube and Facebook and so on, so join us on any of those platforms. Ideally YouTube, that would be awesome. youtube.com/Joseph Clough. That means I get to know you and connect with you before the live recording and afterwards. But the way I see transformation is that we have to ask ourselves some certain important questions to be able to release us from the things that are holding us back. Because we can build illusionary thoughts, narratives, and stories that will hold us back from living the life that we truly desire. Now, to me, you may have a big goal and a dream. You might want to make a change in your life. You may want to let go of, say, the imposter syndrome or anxiety. You may want to be able to get something materialistic, whether it be a career advancement, becoming a business owner, whether it be money, whether it's relationships. No matter what one thing that we have, and even if we know the consequence of achieving that goal is going to dramatically impact our life in the most beautiful, wonderful way, the chances are you will find unconsciously many reasons as to why you should not do that. Many excuses, many reasons to get ourselves out of that situation or to self-sabotage it, in other words. So we need to be clear upon that. We got to recognize it, because if you allow this to be just unconscious, then you're not going to really make the changes that you desire. Those stories and narratives as to why you cannot do something will just keep on popping up in your life. Now, where do we get reasons from? Where do we get these excuses from? Well, typically it's going to be about our past experience, right? We have come to this point in our life because we've had a past history. When you came into this earth or to this present time, you've gone through events and experiences. Now, some of those are going to be very significant. And by significant, they're going to be defining moments in your life which create certain ideas and belief systems that will tell you if you can or cannot achieve something. Let's just go ahead and say that let's say my example. When I was growing up, I wasn't that confident. I had lots of anxiety. I used to blush. And one day the teacher made me stand up in front of everyone to answer a mathematical question. And this was like going from primary to secondary school, or maybe presumably like junior to high school in America. Something like that, but it was around 11 years old. And the teacher made me stand up in front of all my peers and ask this question. I had no idea. I wasn't very good at school. In fact, eventually I only didn't get many GCSEs in England, like 6 of them. Dropped out of business college. And all that stuff was really rooted to this one event because I didn't know the answer. And therefore my teacher said something to the words of, if you don't know this, how are you meant to go and proceed to the next level in, say, secondary school? And in that moment, I made a decision based on all the energy which was on me, everyone looking at me, my face going red, the anxiety, the fear, the dread, the shaking of the body, building up in my neurology. It made this unconscious decision that this is a scary place to be. And therefore, I had reasons to not do those kind of experiences again, because I did not want to repeat this experience. Now, did they repeat? Yes, because there we go through life and new situations will pop up. But ultimately, that defining moment in my life created many reasons and excuses as to why I couldn't do some things. Now, to me, it could have meant, if I look back at it now, as to why I didn't do very well at school. Not just that one event, it would have been many different events, but those events created decisions that imposed upon me unconsciously what was possible and what was not possible. I thought I was bad at school. I didn't think I was very good at education. I was fine with the athletic side of things and even the artistic side of things, but when it came to education of science and maths and all those types of things, English, I just felt like I was not able to do that. I had these reasons as to why. I had these excuses that I assumed to be true, and ultimately it stopped me and missed out on many opportunities that could have progressed my life in profound, wonderful ways. So maybe, in other words, you've gone through other significant emotional experiences just like I did, and it created certain decisions about yourself of what you can and cannot do in this world. That kind of level of thinking creates this fear, and this fear builds this wall around us of what is true, what is not true, what we can and cannot do. So we've got to get into that mindset am I holding myself back based on the experiences that I've gone through? What reasons do I have? Think about your goal, in fact. Maybe it is about getting a relationship. Maybe it's about getting money. Maybe it's about letting go of something when it comes to your own belief systems. Maybe, let's take that one. Maybe you want to let go of the imposter syndrome and you're telling yourself, but I've tried everything. I've gone to therapy, I've gone to counseling, I've done all the medicines, I've done the herbal stuff. All these things will create a reason as to why you can't change, why you can't be free. Maybe you had bad relationships in the past and therefore you go, well, all relationships aren't worth my time because I get hurt, I get betrayed, people don't see my value, I become a people pleaser. So therefore, these are reasons as to why you're not going to go into a relationship. Whether you consciously desire it or not, your unconscious mind's going to be giving you those reasons to stay where you are. We usually look for the why answers, right? You think of your goal and you go, why am I like I am? And your unconscious mind as to what's stopping you. And you'll go, why? And then your unconscious mind will look for every significant event which is related to as to why you can't do something. Because you failed, you tripped up, because you look silly, or you might have failure, all of those things, the rejection, the fear of not knowing enough. It creates these illusionary reasons as to why we can't do something. Now, some of the events that we've been through may be very legitimate, right? So being young or being in an abusive relationship or being fired or a business breaking down in a recession or the economy, whatever it is, right? We might have certain valid reasons as to why things happened. But just because we have certain reasons, it doesn't mean that we should keep them still. Why don't we give them up? Why don't we offer them a new way of thinking that will cause us to have freedom? Let's put it this way. If I have reasons to stay the same, I'm looking for a level of comfort. I'm looking for a level of, this will keep me safe. This will allow me to be in like this no man's land of comfortability. But really, how safe is it staying the same? Like the fear of regret, the fear of missing out. In the short term, yes, those reasons let us off the hook from doing the thing we really want or acquiring the thing we really want. But those reasons, despite making us feel initially safe or comfortable, that makes us feel good. Well, there's why I'm like this. There's why I can't change. It gives us a sense of validation. That validation, though, isn't the best validation, is it? That validation doesn't allow us to live a life full of emotional and physical and materialistic success. So these reasons, these validations for staying the same is actually pushing everything outside of ourselves. For example, it's not my fault, it's the teacher who made me this way. It's not my fault, the abuse that I had. The situation that I was in, when I was sacked, when I lost my business, all those things become justifications and validations as to why you cannot do something. But we've got to think about things differently. You see, I believe my whole life, I promise you, not my whole life, but like my whole life from having changed since then to this point, and my whole life perception even right now is I assume responsibility for everything in my life. I'm just very, very specific with that. I assume responsibility for where I am and where I'm heading. You see, when I do that, I'm no longer pushing outside the power to someone else or the past. I'm actually reclaiming it to be mine. The good, the bad, the ugly, I'm going to assume responsibility because then I have the power. So I'm going to be giving up my reasons and excuses. Now look at this, right? Do I still get reasons and excuses as to why I can't do things? Absolutely. I'm human. But I have the ability, just like you, to question those reasons and not take them on as pure fact, or the illusionary truth that this is just the way I am. I refuse it. I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to look for other examples where people have overcame that situation, and therefore I can. I'm going to look deeply in the mirror and go, look, is this really true? Am I just going to be a victim in my life? Am I going to be a victim of my circumstance? Am I just going to remain the same, be a product of my past? No way. And I don't want that for you. I want you to allow life to be a product of what you choose to create. I want you to be able to let go of the past and actually free yourself from the power of the past or the people in your life, past or present, who have kept us under control, even if it's just in our mind. Because those reasons we're renting out in our mind. They're taking up space, they're taking up time, and they're actually probably costing us money. Money in emotional health, freedom health, in physical health, material wealth, because those reasons are stopping us. It's absorbing that energy level. It's causing us to be so engaged as to why we can't do something that we just feel like giving up. But I want you today to make a decision. I want you to ask yourself, what reasons and excuses am I telling myself? Don't shy away, don't hide away, look for them. Because the more you understand where they are and where they live, the stories you're telling yourself, you're going to then begin to challenge them. You're going to get on what I would say the cause side of life rather than be the effect, a cause and effect equation. Most people in the world will be living on the effect side. It is true. In fact, anyone who has a problem that they don't feel like they're unable to change, they are on the effect of something, the effect of the issue, the effect of the economy, the effect of a relationship, the effect of the body breaking down, the effect of fill in the blank. So we are going to be there if we have issues, but it doesn't mean we have to live there. I want you to go, look, this is my life. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to make the change. I'm going to invest, I'm going to put the time in, I'm going to refuse to allow my past to be my future. I'm going to not keep on running the same stories that have been going on and on and on and on. In fact, I'm going to do whatever it takes starting today. I'm going to do the work, where it be by myself or with others, where it be just carving out the time 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, a couple of hours a week into the development of understanding these reasons and making sure they're not going to hold us back. Because those reasons will build up. So you've got to reflect on the counter. Look for all the reasons as to why you should change. Look for all the value as to why you should change. Think about the missed opportunity and allow that to be a burning desire. Now, of course, we've got to get that into our unconscious mind. So, of course, you can listen to hypnosis, but it does start with you. You've got to decide today that you refuse to be a product of just your past or life in itself. And instead allow life to be something that you choose to create. I actually wrote that phrase in my book, Be Your Potential. Now, it came to me one day and I cannot remember where. It was like 15 years ago probably now. But ultimately that became like a mantra for me. I refuse to be a product of life. Instead, I want life to be a product of something that I choose to create. Now, if you believe in a greater power, that still resonates because you can work with that higher truth. Whatever level you are at, we still must make that change. And I bring up the phrase all the time from one of my favorite books, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. But when we're unable to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. To me, that is absolute responsibility. And considering it was taken from someone who was going through the concentration camps, I think it kind of puts our issues potentially, for most of us, into a different perception. Like if someone can go through all that pain, and I've been to the Holocaust Museum in the past, I've read the book, I've been just to like touch upon it, and it is not good. We know that to be true. So it can put us a bit of a new place where we can go, look, if someone can go through that situation and actually come out with it by saying when we're unable to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Wow, to me that's powerful. That means I have the ability. And also, if there is evidence out there of other people, let's say you've got a goal, and there's people out there who've achieved that goal, why not you? I mean, if you're going to have a why to stay the same, ask yourself different why questions. Why not me? Like, there's no reason. Of course it's going to happen to me. As long as I assume responsibility to do whatever it takes in the pain, in the storm, in all those challenging situations, because that is where we're going to build the essence of who we are to make the changes that we desire when we get on the cause side of the effect, cause side of the equation, rather being the effect. So really, really make that decision today. But you refuse to be a reason. Refuse to be an excuse. Because those words will hold us back. Those reasons are giving our power away to our past or even people who did us wrong. I don't want you to be a victim. I want you to be the victor of your life. And a victor is someone who is going to assume responsibility and do whatever it takes to make the changes. Yes, sometimes you need help. 100%, I get it. But you want to make sure that you are in that position of power. Assume the responsibility for who you are and where you're heading. It will be hard. The storm will come. There will be people. And what I usually find when you start to make that change, the resistance shows up in your life. The resistance gets louder and stronger. People will say, well, who are you to do that? What if this happens? What if that happens? Because you are starting to go from the path from being the victim to a victor. So people in your life or circumstance might pop out and show you why you shouldn't do it. But when those whys come in, when those reasons come in, even if they're your own internal, that little monster on the inside saying, who are you to achieve these things? Who are you to be able to go through these challenges? Say, look, this is my life and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the person that I want to be on my terms. If I win, if I fail, if I learn and I grow, it doesn't matter. I'm going all in on my dreams because this is my life. We have to put in the work. We've got to do and make the changes. But even if you've tried everything, there's not true. There's always other things you can do. There's always solutions out there. And you have the ability to do that. So break free of the narrative of the illusionary lies, reasons, and excuses that we keep repeating in our mind. Refuse them. Let this be the day that you give them up. Hand them over to the past. Hand them over to the people who did those things, because they're not yours to be had anymore. It's not your right to be able to keep on repeating the reasons and excuses, even if you model people in the past. Maybe they're other people's reasons and excuses that we've assumed to be true. But challenge them, look at those reasons, excuses, and make a clear decision that that's not who you're going to be. I believe in you. I really do. I really, really do. I just want you to be able to make the change. And that's why sometimes I like to be light and gentle and like saying how amazing and beautiful and wonderful you are. I believe that to be true. That's my personal truth anyway. But on the other hand, it'll be of disservice if I just said, look, everything's going to be okay and normal if you just keep doing what you're doing. It's not. We got to assume responsibility. Realize when I say, look, you're beautiful, wonderful, and you have all the potentiality, it is saying to also give up the reasons, to give up the stories and do what has to be done, because that's how I live my life. I promise you that. It's not always easy, but it's easier than staying the same. The commitment of making a decision now is far easier than staying the same in pain. So recognize it, realize it, and do whatever it takes to make that change. Get the help, get the support, listen to the hypnosis, listen to the podcast. It's episode 737. That means you got 736 other episodes you can listen to every single day, twice a day. And you pretty much got a year's worth of transformation let alone the hypnosis sessions within the app as well. Now, of course, if you are a professional and you're like ready to go all in on your transformation, you want to personally apply to work with me in a customized way so I can actually do the work with you. You get me and my team on your side, and you're a professional and you're ready to make the big leap in your transformation. Yes, you've got to be invested. It's not a free program. I mean, I wish I could, but it takes a ton of time and energy, and you've got to be very, very invested in time for 8 weeks, maybe a few hours a week, to work with me personally to make the change. Then you can go to josephclough.info/talk. That's josephclough.info/talk. You go ultimately, go to that web link, you book a time to speak with us. It's a one-to-one call with us, by the way, and therefore you fill out an application as well. But on the actual Zoom call, we'll get clear on exactly what you want to let go of, exactly what you want to achieve. We'll get clear on what's unconsciously stopping you, and then we'll come up with a customized plan to make it a reality. Once again, yes, you got to be invested. It's just one of those things. But if you can't afford in your own investment, like I said, listen to all my free work. That's been my mission and ambition for the last, I've been doing this for 20 years now, but probably like 12, 15 years of the podcast or whatever it may be. Maybe it's 10, I'm not sure. But just my mission and ambition is to really support you, even for free. I don't mind taking the cost on the free stuff. So just put yourself all in to make the change and be the person that you desire. So with that, my friends, I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.